So tonight we're going to talk about the next phase of this pre-production cycle. So we've been working on our product vision documents. And how's that been going for everybody? Just thumbs up, good? Making progress, working with your teams, and going through this exercise of really digging in and figuring out what it is that you're going to build. So tonight we're going to talk about the second phase of this product vision exploration, and that is the product canvas cycle. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to walk you through part of a deck. Good Lord. Got a mystery guest here appearing on screen. All right. And so everybody can hear me fine? Mic's coming through okay? Good. All right. All right. Let's start here. Okay. So part of the vision document is, and just let me, there we go, that's better. So part of this, part of the product vision document is, so now we've we kind of know what it is we're trying to do. We've begun to talk to some customers. We've begun to do some research. We're thinking about what it is that we're going to set out to create, and now what we're going to do, and I think I touched upon this with a lot of you in our check-ins, is we're going to begin when we do begin development, which will be after these next 2 weeks. Again, these next 2 weeks are about more pre-production, and that's what we're talking about tonight. But when we do commence with development, we are going to develop in product cycles. So what's a product cycle? A product cycle is represented by a feature canvas, or we're calling them product canvas now. So a product canvas, what is a product canvas? A product canvas is a set of features that you are going to build. And there isn't a set number of features, but these features are going to be developed in a cycle. And as we go through the labs, you'll be expected to produce at least 2 product canvases as part of your development, or preferably 3. But if you only get 2 and they're well done and they're fully functional, then that will pass. So a product canvas, again, is a set of features that you are going to design, and you're going to build, and you're going to test and iterate on and complete. And then you'll move to the next product canvas, which is another set of features that naturally build upon the existing features. And if you're lucky, you'll go through a third cycle of product canvas where you'll add another set of features that take your product even further. So where do we begin? And what I'll stress is a product cycle can take, it's 1 to 3 weeks in full time. So it's 2 to 6 weeks in part time. So you will take you will take, as a team, you'll decide, okay, we're going to launch with these core features. And let's say there are 2 core features. And those are the features that you must, that basically solve the key essential problem that you're setting out to solve. Without those features, nothing can be built upon it. So this is going to be an exercise where you begin to think, okay, what are the absolute core things that must happen, or we don't have a product, and start there. And then, okay, if we complete that, let's say those are 2 features that are absolutely core. Okay, we've spent 4 weeks making those 2 features, and they work. They've been tested. Usability is good. Good feedback. It's very intuitive. Great. Now we're moving on to our next product cycle, which is another set of features. Again, it's a manageable number. For some teams that might be 3. For some teams it might be 2 features in that cycle. And again, you'll decide, okay, we're going to take 4 weeks. We're going to take 6 weeks to build these ones because they're tricky. And even though we have 2-week sprints, you would have 3 sprints to complete that product cycle. So there's a lot of flexibility for the teams to sort of decide how they're going to approach their feature development. But again, everything is going to be in these cycles, and you're not moving on through a cycle until you complete it. The idea here is that it's constant iterative development now, and you're launching a very core product, and you're adding to it. And then at the end of labs, a new group will come in and they'll begin to add to your product, and this product will continue to evolve and grow. So I think when we talked in check-ins Thursday, I talked about maybe a cycle being 1 feature at a time. But I think what I want to stress tonight, that a product canvas is a feature set. And a feature set, these are features that are grouped logically together, beginning with the very core functionality. And then the next set of features for another cycle will be logically grouped together. It makes sense that you would tackle these 2 things at once. So you're going to be really researching and thinking about what makes sense. And it's a scaffolding, right? There's the core features, and then you're going to add another set of features, and that's a natural extension of the core features. And it's a logical scaffolding of the feature set through a cycle of development. So that is the idea of a product cycle. Let me step back and take a look. If there are questions, unmute yourself and just ask, because I want to stay on this deck. Does that make sense to everybody? What a cycle is and what a product canvas is?
There's no way none of you have a question. There's no way.
Yeah, I have a question here. Is the vision document the same as the product canvas document, or
no? And what you'll see, well, I'll get to that. It's not. No, it's an extension of your product vision document. It's another, it's another section of that document. Okay. And I'll show you that tonight in the templates. So.
Okay.
So again, go ahead. Sorry.
And do we revisit the product canvas after every cycle, or do we give in all the features before we start the cycles? And then,
you in the next 2 weeks, you're going to design at least 3 product canvases. Now, maybe you'll only complete 2 of those, but you're going to design 3 of them. That said, there's going to be some flexibility in, this isn't, total rigid design up front. You're going to say, this is our best guess today about how we scaffold our features. If we are going to set out to create the core product and launch with 6 features, here's the cycles of which we're going to develop those. Now, you could get to you could get into development and say, you know what, this doesn't make sense, and we've thought of something better. And if the team agrees, you can adapt your plan. You're not going to be held to task if you change your product canvas to make it better, or to make it more functional, or to change something based on feedback from one product cycle, test cycle. That's the purpose of having these cycles, is that you can put them in users' hands and watch them being used and collect some data and look at some analytics and say, it's unfolding as it should, or we need to pivot, we need to change, we need to adapt our plans. So yeah, I think, but you will be designing at least 3 canvases in this next 2-week cycle, and that will be that will accompany your product vision document, and all of that will comprise your pre-production package. That's your along with basic wireframes that your team leads will be helping you put together. So you'll have a good solid blueprint before we write a line of code. But that said, blueprints can change, based on feedback, based on just better ideas that come as you get more experience developing this.
Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, as I just said, your product vision doc is spelling out the product, the big picture, and then these product canvases are the nuts and bolts of how you're going to launch a functional product in these feature sets. So hopefully that makes sense. And you'll see as we get it, I'm going to walk you through the template for a product canvas. But essentially, the template, it can be summed up in these four statements. We've already begun to explore the problem of what our app is being built to solve. What problems are we solving? We've been talking about that already, but we're gonna zone in on that again and even a little deeper in this product canvas exploration. So we're going to look deeper at the problem and try to, like I said, identify the real core elements of the problem, so that our very core fundamental MVP features address that problem, provide a solution. We're going to get those features out to be tested and to be in users' hands, and we're going to come up with ways to measure if we, are we meeting our objectives, or is the objective of that feature met? So we need to have we need to have some measurable benchmarks, which are part of this exercise, which I'll walk you through in a few minutes. And so yeah, again, you'll see the outline in a few minutes of objective, problem, solution, and key metrics. What are the metrics that we are going to put in place to say, yes, we've we've accomplished that feature has accomplished the objective, and it has solved the problem. So that's it's an important part of what I'll walk you through next. So I'm going to move on to that template. And so you will see, let me share again, hang on. Okay, you can all see the product board. Yes? Okay, so our product board is where we'll ultimately migrate our product vision doc back to the template that is here. So with each of the projects, I've gone and added at least the first feature canvas. And at the very bottom of all of your projects, you will see this feature canvas template. And again, we can all work in Google Docs or however you guys want to work is fine. But this is the essential template of a product canvas. And again, it says feature canvas. I think it's better to call it product canvas, but I can go in and make that change. We're going to call it product canvas. So what are the components of the template? The components of the template are, okay, for us, let's just start with the very core features, let's say the very core fundamental features for this workout tracker. Is there any member of the workout tracker team that would unmute themselves and talk with me, or multiple members of the team? Can I hear from someone? Just chime in.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, great. Who's this?
Evan.
Evan. Okay, Evan. You guys have been working on your problems and what the app is setting out to do. But as far as workout tracker goes, let's talk about the very core fundamental problems that you want to solve. What would you say that the core problem really is that you know?
Well, we kind of we're trying to target to 2 users. So basically you have like a user who's looking for like a more social aspect of the app, and then you have a user who's also looking for like kind of like a more workout oriented portion of the app.
Okay, and are those the same persona, or is that that's just, I guess the persona is both. I mean, the persona is the same, right? It's a person. It's a person that's working out, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So what would you say? What would you say the core? What's the core problem you're solving?
Basically just for let me here. I can pull up our.
Yeah, just look at the problems that you wrote down and just let me know.
Just give me 1 second.
Would you say that it's, is it giving, is it giving workout, people who work out a place to monitor, to track their workout and also to socialize?
So so it's more on basically tracking like the performance of your workout, I would say. So for an example, you can track like you can have like a time limit, I guess. You're able to choose, like, say if there's equipment available in the gym. So basically it's just like being able to track like your performance. If there's something that you're not really sure about, if there's a workout that you're not really sure about, then it gives like kind of like a I guess like a summary of somewhat that you could do.
So it's offering you suggested workouts?
Possibly, yes.
And is that based on your input? Are you filling out a form that tells, are you describing what your goals are, and then you're gonna serve up suggested workouts based on data that the user fills out, or how's it going?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So one problem would be that
there could be a problem. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
So there could be, like, say for an example, if you use our app, there may be like suggested workouts of like a specific part of the body that you want to target. So that's another thing that we're kind of pushing into it as well.
So essentially, it sounds like the core problem, one of the core problems that you're trying to solve is you don't know what the best workout for you to do is, right?
Right. That would be up to the user.
Yeah. So you're going to help them solve that problem.
Right.
The user.
Sorry, I'm also part of the workout tracker team. And yeah, to help answer that, it's trying to help let the users know, like, what are their goals? Do they want to slim down? Do they want to be built muscle like a bodybuilder? Or do they want to just be toned? So one of the features that we're trying to do is to set a workout goal so they could choose what is it that they would want to work on to get their body shape. And then from there, it could possibly have them select certain types of workouts and reps for them to do to help them gain or get to that goal, and choose their equipments that they have access to, or different types of exercises. And yeah, there's numerous personas that we have.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay, so it's fair to say, and again, we're all just riffing here. This isn't, final. This is just kind of the way we're going to think through this. So help the users identify their workout goals. And then users aren't sure what kind of workout best suits them, right? There's all kinds of workouts. We're going to help them figure out what their goals are and then what kind of workout supports that goal. Yes. Fair enough? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What are solutions to those problems? And here I would say, okay, how are we going to help users identify their workout goals? Are we going to ask them? Are they going to fill out a form? Are we going to serve up questions? Are they going to write an essay?
Well, we're thinking,
what is it?
It'd be something nice and simple, not like an essay, because it turns
Right.
people off.
Yes.
So we were actually researching one of our competitors, and they actually showed different body types that they have for different people, and that was really effective and pretty straight to the point in showing us and letting us know, like, oh, do you want a slim body, a fit body, or do you want a big, bulky Arnold Schwarzenegger type of body? So something like that, where it's nice and easy to read and see, and then that can help them choose what they would like.
So what, maybe what body type are you currently? And then what do you aspire to be?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, again, I'm not designing this for you. This is just for the sake of this.
Yeah.
Okay. Marketing message. Okay, if we were to think about it like this, and Gannon, correct me if I'm wrong, because I know you've been through a presentation of this before, but the marketing message would be, all right, if we ship this product canvas, and let's say there's an update on Twitter about our app, and that one line update would say what? In this case, body type identifier released. It's a quick way to just very easy description of this feature in a very direct way. So it's really, if you were to sell this feature set in one sizzling statement or a couple of bullets, what would they be? And that's how I would describe what marketing message means in this template.
The easiest analogy I've heard is, if any of you have played video games, it's the patch notes. Like, all right, we're on version 1.2 and we're moving up to 1.3. This is what's new. This is what's been updated. Like, that's the idea of it.
I guess 1.0 would be like transform you into the you want to be.
There, yeah, that's great.
I like it.
Yeah. I like it. Yeah. So again, you're selling your feature set. Okay, objectives. Objectives are how are we going to build this feature set? What are the steps? This will naturally translate into our Trello boards when we break down our sprints. So what are the steps? What are the logical series of events that need to occur from a development point of view to deliver these features? Gannon, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So just like you said, we want to be able to release these updates, these things. All right, how are we going to do that? Not break it down.
Yeah.
It does not have to be in painful detail. It just needs to paint enough of a picture that, imagine you were a new hire coming onto a team, write the level of detail you would want. That's the rule of thumb.
And really, I think another thing to say here is, when you're going to, and I don't know that it's really on this template, but I would like, us to address it. And that is, as a team, you're going to determine for this product canvas, we are going to take 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks. And it really should be based off of this list of objectives. It shouldn't be, oh, we're going to say 4 weeks and get it done in 2. It should really, it should be that based on this list of objectives and the difficulty of all of these steps, the number of people on the team, it is, in our best guess, it's going to take us this amount of time to do this right and do it well. And I would ask that you, at the end of your objective section, end with your time frame, your estimated time frame, because that's going to be important. Key results. These are the metrics that will be used to determine whether whether these features, this feature set has solved the problem that you're setting out to solve, and that you've met your development objectives. So that can be, user feedback. That can be number of users, and how they've been able to progress through the app in a test cycle. It could be, how long users are staying on the landing page. What if your objective is, and again, we can all think about this on all of our projects. One of the earliest objectives and one of the earliest problems is to create an app that people want to visit and stay. So that's an important goal. And so that could be part of your key results. Okay, our test data shows that 75% of the users that have tested this have stayed longer than a minute, and therefore that's successful because that's the metric that we set in place. Come up with a list of metrics that will be used to say we succeeded. We're not going to tell you what those metrics are. You're going to create those metrics based on your objectives, and they should be concrete. They shouldn't be obscure. They should be measurable. Does that make sense? Again, any other examples of metrics for some of the projects you've seen?
You hit it pretty much on the head. It's going to be predominantly, it's going to be user feedback, or it's going to be some sort of a number like that drives that we can easily measure, but like Google Analytics or something like that. Those are the two primary ones that we've been seeing people use thus far.
Okay.
I have a question. Would SEO get involved in this at all?
Would what?
Would we involve SEO?
You can, yeah. It's not like, don't pay money for it. It's not required, but no, you can definitely involve that. Make that as part of your stretch for your production ready environment.
Sweet.
Because like these apps, like these are meant to be used by real people. We are not making capstone projects. That's dead and gone. We are making real applications that actually solve real problems. So take this planning very, very seriously, because it does actually matter for what we're doing. I'm saying this for everyone, not just for you, Greg. I'm not trying to single you out.
No, thank you.
Okay, moving on in the template. There's a research section. Now you've already started this in your product vision documents. Now you're going to take it a little deeper and with a little bit more focus on a set of features. So UX research, again, we want you to think about how you are going to how you're going to design these features into your app, and we would like to have a rough rudimentary wireframe on how that feature is navigated, how it functions. And your TLs will be helping you drive that. You do the research, you do the homework, you do the, and will help your TLs will help you visualize it in wireframes so that you can sort of go through that process with a guiding hand. Competitive feature research. You're already out researching competitive products. Now let's let's look for competitive features for whatever features in this product canvas. Who out there is doing that? Who's doing it well? Who's doing it right? Who's doing it poorly? Whatever your research yields, documented here, because you want to know what's out there, and you want to know the benchmark of what you need to perform to.
And it is okay if there is overlap between your product vision doc and the competitor research you put in here. So don't feel it needs to be different, because sometimes it is the exact same thing, but if it's a specific feature of something else, then look into that as well.
Yeah, exactly. Technical research. What are you going to use to architect these features? And if so, and once you determine that, do some real research into the feasibility of that technical approach. Does the tech stack that you're using, do the elements of that play together well? That's one thing in some of the labs cohorts I've worked with. When certain technologies are combined, they don't play well, and they do terrible things to each other. So it really behooves you to up front do the research, look at forums, look at message boards, look for indications that that your technologies are going to function well together. Tomorrow night on the schedule, and I forgot to mention at the top of the hour, we have a schedule that's being shared tonight with you, and that's our 16-week schedule. And we'll add some detail to it as we go, but it's enough to get us rolling here, and you'll get to see how these sprints are going to unfold. But tomorrow night on that schedule, there's a little lecture about technical feasibility. But really, I think we can just sum that up here without going into it in any more detail tomorrow. That way, you can just roll right in and work on this. Technical feasibility is just that. It's doing the research to make sure that that all the technologies that you are considering using to deploy these features are going to support you, that are going to be reliable, and that are going to play well amongst each other. So I think that sums it up. That's really what this section is that mitigate your risks. It really makes. I mean, I'm Labs part-time 3 is wrapping up. Well, it wrapped up last night, and one team is struggling with Core's issue with Heroku, and that also happened in Labs part-time too. So there's just these little things where elements come together and they don't work, and better to try to find all of those instances before you get surprised, because it really can block you for extended periods of time to try to reach out to companies to find out. I mean, on one thing I worked on a couple of years ago, it was an app that used the camera on a mobile phone, and it turns out it was a problem with Unity, and it took 2 months to figure out what the problem was, and then it took Unity 8 months to fix it and release a new version where that was fixed. So something that was really seemingly simple to start with took almost a year to make, because so homework up front helps solve those problems. And people are usually vocal on the forums about problems they're having. So, and I know you're all, as part of the product vision document, the stakeholder and customer interviews are part of that. and they'll continue through this product canvas cycle. And I think that these interviews are more like okay, they don't need to, these are interviews that aren't helping determine problems as much as they are solutions. So will your feature set solve your core problems? And getting the feedback from customers about your suggested approach will help, hopefully help validate the feature set. Am I speaking correctly there, Gannon? Is that the idea? These aren't so much product vision interviews. They're more would this approach solve your problem?
Yeah. So half of the reason why we do this is because all of our numbers from all the times we've ever done labs, the teams that don't plan fail. Even if they have the tech gods amongst them, they fail. Because the soft skills and communications and planning is more important than the coding by far. This is our way of making sure you have to do the planning. So even if your planning is not exactly perfect step in step, that's okay. It's to give you a guiding light, a general path that you can follow to know you're at least on the right path you want to be on to see this through to the finish line. And this is a living document. I mean, to the point where it's even going to outlive your team and it's going to get picked up by somebody else. So keep working on it, keep adding to it, let it evolve, but get your baseline down so you're not making it up on the fly when you're all the way in the vanguard.
Okay, thank you. And then meeting notes, I'm stressing that you document your meetings, that you have an agenda and that you take notes during meetings, because or even record your Zoom sessions if you're really talking through features. It's just good, disciplined, focused way to develop is to document. So I don't think anything more needs to be said there. So that's the template for a product canvas. And again, you're going to develop 3 of these canvases, which can be a number of features that support solving a problem for the product. But again, start at the core. What do you need to do to just get the thing up off the ground and moving forward in a to support the overall goal of the product. And again, user experience is a really important part of your core. I would say a welcoming landing experience is a feature that everybody should consider up front. It's your invitation. It's your welcome. It's come and visit this site and stay here. It will help you. So those are important things. And that is, style plays an important part of that. That'll come much later. But just think about, how do you get your user to your site, and how do you help them navigate those first critical few steps to get the experience moving forward and to get them excited about being a part of it. It's really, really important that the onboarding of your product is comfortable, welcoming, fun, but and intuitive. It's got to be easy. And that's the beauty of this kind of product release cycle, is that you can wireframe it, think through it a bit, then you can build it. You build it in very rough prototype form at first, Start getting in users' hands, and you'll watch them navigate, and you'll say, "Oh, they're getting stuck there. That button should really be here, and that word should be changed to be clearer." All of these things will start to happen, but I think that onboarding is an important early feature for all of you, for every project, every team. It should be, in my opinion, should be part of your earliest canvas. Okay, so that's the template. I've added it to this, to each of the products on our product board. You can take the template and work it however you want. If you want to work it as a Google Doc, great. We're going to migrate everything back to these at the very end. We can come back and migrate everything to the product boards, but you will, how you develop this information is up to you and your team. So, any questions? And I can get back on Slack if you want to ask in Slack. Okay. No questions? We good there? Again, I will show you quickly. Let me share again, and I will share the schedule, which we'll be sharing with your TLs. Will be sharing with you tonight. So we are on August 5th. We're beginning Sprint 2, and we've talked about Release Canvas tonight. And tomorrow, I've talked about technical feasibility as much as I think I can share with you. Unless, Gannon, there's anything you want to add based on full-time labs.
Not right now.
Okay, great. So, like I said, we'll be adding some detail to these schedules, but this is a good idea of where we're headed. And you'll see, like Sprint 4, there's product cycle kickoff, product cycle wrap up. You'll see, we're going to, but you're going to be defining how long a cycle takes. We will be working in 2-week sprints, but if your cycle for a particular cycle is going to take you 4 weeks, then that would obviously be 2 sprints. So that's that. Your stand-up forms will be distributed tonight. Your TLs will share that. So students will fill out their stand-up forms when they have their stand-ups. What else? Any questions? Okay, who's anxious to go and start to work on their product? Oh, go ahead. Question out there?
Yes. Hey, I have a question. When do we have the career lessons as per this calendar plan?
When do we have what?
Career lessons.
Career. Yeah, I don't have the answer to that. They will be. That's the detail that I will be adding.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Yeah, I know Student Success is working on that, and they're going to give me the dates. And there will be some UI. There will be some UI lessons, I believe. Right, Gannon?
I just built that out Friday. I'll drop that here.
Yeah. So again, the schedule will be a living schedule. We'll be adding detail to it. So, but it will all be accounted for. We're happy to have the 16 weeks laid out to start, and then we'll add the specificity to it as we go. should we be having costing meetings for user stories, making sure no one? Yeah, the question is, should we be having costing or time meetings for user stories, making sure no one developer is over X hours in tasks per week? I think that that can be part of your objectives. If, I mean, we're going to get into product management when we kick off the development cycles. But I think that thinking about this up front as you're doing your objectives as part of the canvases is a good idea. If you're inclined to do that, then I would go for it. I mean, it's going to, again, Gannon summed it up, it's the teams that plan the best that succeed. And I can tell you that as a fact. This is my third cohort now.
And
Okay.
more importantly, you've seen that in the workplace too, I'd imagine, right?
Sorry, say that again.
You've seen the failure and success in the workplace as well.
Oh yeah. I can speak to one company I worked with in the last 18 months, and the coders were totally resistant to reading documentation, and all they wanted to do was just start building. And it was a real fight between old school, which I am, and a new development methodology taught by a specific university. And they're still beating their heads off a wall. That's all I'll say. You got to plan. You've got to think through it. The more you do that up front, the better your chances are going to be. I mean, I know you're all chomping at the bit to code. And you're going to get that opportunity, but when you code, it's going to be more focused. And you're going to, you will have thought through a lot of potential pitfalls before you start. I'm just a firm believer in that. So you're all going to have the opportunity to code, but it's really, you're learning something that I think is invaluable, which is project planning and collaborative teamwork up front. Oh, I've been in a lot of madhouses, yes. But I've been in some really good ones too. Okay, any other questions? Thanks a lot. Again, I really appreciate everyone's patience. I know that it's a little frustrating to sort of say, where's our schedule? Where are my forms? What do I need to do? This is a new labs process. We're all learning it as we go here, and I think we're right on track. So everybody's doing a great job. From what I saw in check-ins, we're all right on the money. So thanks for patience, and we're all gonna move things forward and produce some great products. So, all right, I'll let you all go. If you have any other questions, just reach out to me or your TLs, and I'll see you later in the week. Okay. Take care, everyone. Good night.